Cool. Okay. Um, you want to start, Karina, since you were talking about the year progression stuff?
Oh, I just find it interesting. Like, I feel the first section that I read, the first chunk that we were assigned,
Yeah.
I didn't know it was going to be over 10 years, like I said last time. So now I'm like, ooh, what's going to happen this year? And a year is so much time, but also not. And they're so young. So I'm just like, oh, we're going to see them progress to like their, like we're no longer figuring out life stage and they're going to be more settled.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very curious about that.
I know that we obviously we get to see like the main characters. I already forgot their names. I blanked on their names. Sarah, Lori, and Jack. But then
Mhm.
I don't know why I just felt like, not that I want to call Lori like a sad single girl forever, but I like, duh, obviously she's gonna find someone, and she's gonna
Mhm.
be with someone. And I feel like because I was focusing on the love triangle, I totally like blocked off the possibility of like a new person coming in and actually sticking around. And I was like, oh, awesome.
What do you guys think of Oscar?
I feel like he seems like a better fit for Sarah. Like I don't know, I kind of see them like ending up together or doing
Oh,
something and then
Mm, that's interesting.
but I don't know. I mean, he seems like a good fit, but I feel like his family style is
Mm,
like so different than hers. So I feel like in that aspect, right now it's good, but I feel like later it may not.
yeah. The part with the mom, I felt was kind of like tough for Lori. Like it's very difficult like when you don't get along with someone's parents, I think. So
mm,
that makes me think like they're not gonna last because once things get to like the next level of seriousness, maybe the mom will do something, or maybe Oscar will be like, okay, maybe we're not the right fit or something, or maybe she'll realize it herself too.
and it's not like, because they say like the relationship is between them two, but then obviously like the parents are still gonna like, push through and bring on their own like opinions. And even if they don't support it, like it's gonna be hard. And I feel like it could go that way where the mom, and I mean just his family seems more fitting with the energy of Sarah.
Mhm.
And Jack is more laid back and more chill like Lori,
Mhm.
but he's a little psycho. he's a little he's a little sad. He's just sad.
Jack went like this,
He
like in the
Yeah.
section.
he's just gonna spiral and he's gonna be like, oh.
I didn't like what happened to him that section. I'm like, this is weird.
The whole time or I think when we first see that Sarah is kind of like not as like lovey-dovey with him, and
Mm-hmm.
you can tell that there's some, but right before she says like there's some distance between us, or that he's distant. I'm like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, is he
Mhm.
freaking cheating, or like is he with someone else? But I think it's just the whole of like he's still thinking about Lori, I
Yeah,
think.
I agree. But does he have a right to though? Like he hasn't broken up with Sarah. He's being so dramatic when he meets Oscar and very rude. That part made me mad because I'm like, you can't have it both ways. You can't have the cake and eat it too, as people say. I'm like, you didn't go for Lori. So much time has passed. Now you're all salty that, she's moved on with someone who is just very different than you, and that's why you also don't like them, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't really like Jack. Like, he doesn't even have a great job. He seems like kind of mean. He still lives with his boys. Like, I just don't know like what they see in him, but
Maybe he's
I
just
feel like yeah, I feel like maybe him and Sarah are gonna break up,
mm-hmm.
but then Lori's gonna be with Oscar, so then they can't get back. together,
Mm,
like right away. So
like a missed opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like they might have to wait it out. But I just can't imagine them like being together after that whole incident. It was like crazy.
You mean
I
like when
also
he
kind
got
of
like broken
thought that
necklace? Oh, go ahead, Jalen.
that with the flowers, how she was like, I'll make sure not to mix them up. Like I feel like she still mixed them up. And then that's where things are gonna like boom. Because he's gonna or what's her name? Sarah's gonna be like, because it said Lori, right? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, why do you miss her? Or like, I don't know.
I was like, when he was writing out the notes, I'm like, I don't think he said anything that could be like, oh, if it was sent to the wrong person, it's kind of like
Mhm.
what happened, Because I
Yeah.
thought he was gonna mention the kiss, like, I'm sorry, we said it wasn't gonna happen, and it happened again, and then that's when you're like, again? What do you mean again? But
Mm-hmm.
maybe the I miss you part might be it, but I feel like he knows it's wrong, and I mean, even when the Flores was like, "You're sending two," and he's like, "Yeah, I know this is trash."
That part was funny. I wonder, just I think it is gonna come out eventually because I feel like that has to be the next conflict in the book after some time maybe, but I wonder if Jack will how Jack will let it be known. Like if Oscar also finds out like, okay, you had a thing with Jack like some time ago and he never told me, I feel like that could get pretty bad too. Or why didn't you tell Sarah she's supposed to be your best friend? Like what's real, what's not? I could imagine him like questioning a lot of things if he finds it out.
Do Do you think Lori would tell him? Because I think in Lori's perspective, it's like nothing really happened. They just saw each other
Mm-hmm.
and they ignored each other, and like there wasn't
Mm-hmm.
much. Yes, they kissed, but they're both like they swore to secrecy. They weren't gonna tell any. It's like
Yeah.
this is between us, and that's it.
I think that the thing that happened like isn't that big of a deal. I just feel like maybe Oscar will think that not being told is kind of more like
Yeah.
the big deal, if that makes sense. Because I feel like she kind of glossed over a little bit when he asked like who got you the flowers or something. So I don't know. But Oscar seems very laid back too, so I'm like maybe he won't really like think about it too much.
Yeah, because I feel like Oscar, they mentioned that Oscar is just very like secure and I think confident in the relationship. But then
Mm-hmm.
towards that section, there was like the whole like there's an unusual atmosphere between us tonight. A weight in the air, a storm warning. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like obviously something's gonna happen. Like he may seem very secure in the relationship, but at the same time, I feel like he's gonna start kind of looking. And then
Maybe.
maybe he might find something or see Jack look at her a certain way and then fight.
Yeah, I think something like that might happen, yeah.
Lori's little note was also way longer.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it only said J, and in this one it was like Jack. Like full name.
I think it was weird that the flowers were the same too, because the lady even asked, like, okay, like what kind of like apology flowers, but one should have been like more romantic. So I feel like he's not really invested in Sarah anymore. Do you think he's dating Sarah just to like still have some sort of access to Lori? Because he knows like if he breaks up with Sarah, it won't make sense to be like, oh yeah, I'm hanging out with Lori on the side, but we're avoiding Sarah because it's awkward. Like maybe that's why, and that's why he's not romantic because he still wants, the hangouts at least to see her because that's the only access he has right now that makes sense logically. And maybe
Think
that's why he's kind of pushing buttons to see like what happens since he's already at that really low point. I don't know. Maybe he's just waiting it out to see like if Lori will break up with Oscar or what will happen. But even if she were to break up with Oscar, he can't just like stop dating Sarah and go to Lori right away. Like it won't look good.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that's why he's still there with Sarah because he's like, oh, I can't like imagine my life without Lori. even if I can't have her romantically, like at least I can see her as a friend acquaintance, even if I have to deal with like this annoying boyfriend figure that she has. I feel like that could be happening.
I think Jack is very toxic and he's playing games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wouldn't, like, just like as a power thing, maybe. I mean, I know it's not like outwardly said, but like, if you really like a girl and you're toxic, I'm just gonna date her friend and continue dating her. But like, have you as an option. I don't know.
That's bad because he's wasting Sarah's time too, and I feel like she's like the one that doesn't. She's the one that is kind of being played the fool the most. I think maybe Oscar too, but Oscar's newer. She's been played the fool the longest because she doesn't know like that prior history, but Jack and Lori do, and she's just like continuing to try and do things the best way that she can.
Do you think this whole little change of like games started after Lori left? Because I feel like he was into Sarah, and I don't know, I feel like maybe it was the whole not having Lori around that he's like, you know what, I really, really miss her.
Mm-hmm.
Like actually being with my girlfriend or this person here, I don't really like enjoy it anymore.
I think it could be that, and I think that before Thailand, Lori was like a single Pringle, so he didn't have like any male
Yeah.
competition, and after Thailand, she wasn't single Pringle. So then now he's like, oh, this person can take her away, or she's not as free to like focus on me. So I do think I agree with what Katie says, and I think he's just a little bit selfish too, because he's in an impossible position in a way, but he's the one that put himself there.
Mhm.
I wonder if this will be kind of like how and it ends with us, like how Atlas like, kind of disappeared for a while and he built himself back up. Like maybe that will happen to Jack, like since he can't really take the DJ route anymore because of his hearing, sadly. Maybe he'll like turn directions and find a new career and then, fade into the background for a while and then come back super amazing. And then maybe Lori will be single for whatever reason, and then they'll like naturally fall in together. Or maybe he'll come back and she's not. Maybe she's engaged to Oscar.
I
And I think
was
that could
think
be like another conflict, right? Kind of like that other book we read.
I was thinking, what if Oscar and Lori end up getting married, and
Mm-hmm.
then either with that whole little storm that's, happening, or that little tension that they felt, like what if
Mm-hmm.
Oscar is not who he seems to be, and right now we get to see the positive and nice side, and then like it's giving me the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo,
Yeah.
where there was one of the husbands who was so nice and everything, but then behind closed doors he was an a-hole, and
Yeah.
like they get divorced or something, or he dies, or like something happens that then later Lori is able to get with Jack, maybe a better Jack than this young stupid one.
Yeah, because Oscar could turn the tables on Lori too if, we haven't seen him mad yet or upset, but he could be like, oh, you've been living here for free. I'm a family good graces, and then maybe he could turn quite nasty that way too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm with you even though my mom doesn't like you. I don't know. I could imagine it going that way too, because I feel like Oscar we haven't gotten to know as well yet as the other characters. He's very new still to me.
And it's also very like, oh, marry me. And it was like the night after, like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
the second night they had met, maybe, or the second date or something.
Yeah.
And he kept asking her, but I'm like, that's a little like impulsive, or a little, I don't know,
A little I'm used to getting everything I
a little
want.
dramatic, a little exaggerated, a little too
Yeah.
passionate, that I'm like, something is wrong, or something must be wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And going back to Jack, I did not like the part with like him pulling the necklace and everything and ripping it. Like that was so dramatic. But I feel like that was symbolic, right? Because that's her and Oscar's thing. And I'm like, oh, he broke the necklace. That's like symbolic, that a metaphor for their relationship not working out later and getting broken as well. Back through my notes here or my tabs and see what struck me as I was reading. And how many years have we gone through?
4,
4 years? Okay, so we're about halfway done.
maybe more actually. 5, 4, because we stopped at 2013 and
Oh, okay.
started
Thank you.
2008.
Yeah,
Which I
that
think
part with the part with the necklace was like kind of triggering. Like it was pretty abusive. And then he like sends flowers, and it reminded me of like It Ends With Us, where it's like, you know, I'm trying to make up for it, but it's like not okay.
And it was flowers too. You're right.
Although he said he did start going to therapy, which is good.
I feel like it's gonna go as far as Jack and Sarah are engaged. They're gonna go through the whole thing. And then like at the last minute.
He's like, I can't.
Right.
Ooh. Oh, that would crush Sarah. Poor
Yikes.
Sarah.
There was a movie kind of like that. I mean, it was mostly surrounded by a wedding with Sandra Bullock. I'll have to look it up, but it just kind of gives me that vibe where like they're friends, but they're like going behind their friends' backs and like goes all the way up to the wedding.
Is it My Best Friend's Wedding? Like an old one, or
Yeah, let me
with
see
Dermot
this.
Mulroney, Cameron Diaz, and Julia Roberts?
Let me see.
But I do think I remember another one with Sandra Bullock, a wedding one.
I was like, I just watched a movie with Sandra Bullock, but
She's
it
so
was
funny.
Notting Hill. I had never heard of it.
I've never seen it.
So I was attracted to it because it's a guy. He sells books, and I was like, oh, he sells books. Let's go. But it's
Ooh.
like he's in London, like in London or somewhere in the UK, and he's mostly selling books for like travel books, and it's not very successful, and he's just kind of there.
Yeah.
And then she's a movie star, and she just shows up there, and they
Oh,
somehow
cool.
fall in love. Yeah.
One line from page 157 that kind of struck me was when Jack was noticing, like, oh, she's not just the girl from Delancey Street anymore. She's a woman with a life that I'm by and large no longer a part of. So I think Jack is coping with that too, you know, like, oh, like I used to be a partner, now I'm not. It's just like his ego. Big time.
I did catch that, and I think I said it was actually Julia Roberts. It wasn't Sandra Bullock. I was like, oh, sorry, the movie that I mentioned, and I just looked up the My Best Friend's Wedding, and it's also Julia Roberts. It might be that.
They kind of have a similar look that I confuse them sometimes because like they're both brunettes, and straight hair sometimes in the movies. But if it's My Best Friend Wedding, yeah, I can see hints of that here.
I just looked at it. It's not that one. I'm driving myself insane trying to figure out.
Wedding movie where they're cheating, all of them. Just kidding.
Oh, she's also in The Proposal, but that one's much different.
I like The
Yeah.
Proposal.
Love that movie.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, Corinna, with that quote, I feel like she obviously left and she was able to kind of just leave the whole like kind of like my best friend's shadow and her just being like, oh my God, I love my best friend's boyfriend kind of thing. And she became her own self and she found someone that was interested in her and actually liked her. And you know, there's no comparing or trying to fight for this one guy, and she now is confident and
Yeah.
finally got her job, even though she was still struggling. But yeah, she's growing up and becoming someone better without him.
Yeah, I like that she did that though. I mean, as I like that she did that. I feel like it took the book like in a good spin versus like she just like stayed strung up on him or something, you know. But it did complicate things more. Which movie is it, Katie?
I haven't figured it out. It's
I'll
like
help you.
it's like Julia Roberts, or it could be Cameron Diaz, or it could be Sandra Bullock, and it's this other guy. He's like kind of like George Clooney, but he has a scar right here.
Esther Mulrooney. It's my best friend's wedding.
Are you?
Okay, does she have a gay friend in the movie?
I don't know. Let me look
And
it up.
she's like a business lady. She has a cell phone. She's kind of obnoxious.
It's
And then
not. It's not something borrowed. The best friend is in love with like the best friend's
And the
partner.
fiance is blonde, short hair, and she's very young and just kind of like naive. And the family's super rich. No, it could be that one. The one I'm talking about is a 90s movie, and this one looks much newer.
Isn't there like Anne Hathaway wedding movies too?
Also that.
I don't know. Maybe it is. I can't remember. I'm gonna say it's my best friend's wedding.
And they sing that song, Say a Little Prayer for Me in that movie.
All I remember is that he has like a boat and they fall asleep in the boat, but it's like parked on the street.
Oh, it's not my best friend's wedding then.
You know what I'm talking
I
about?
remember that scene, but now I can't remember the name of the movie either.
I'm gonna have a mental breakdown trying to figure out the movie. I'm gonna figure it out, but it still has that guy. It has that guy though.
Dermot Mulroney. Maybe we should look up his movies.
What's his name?
Dermot Mulroney.
Vermont.
Dermot. DermotMul. I just know because he's one of my mom's celebrity crushes. My best friend. Is it the wedding date? It's the wedding date.
It's the wedding date.
Yes, I
Yes.
remember seeing the cover
That's
of
what
this
I
movie.
found. I'm googling wedding movies.
Oh, it's not Sandra Bullock. It's that lady that looks like
Cool.
kind of like Deborah Messing.
Wedding game.
Wedding
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 date.
date.
Oh. From 2005.
And it has
Um.
the girl from, I forgot her name too.
Sarah Parrish.
The blonde girl,
Let me see. I'm glad we
Amy
figured it out.
Adams. Amy Adams.
Oh,
Amy Adams.
Oh, I see.
Interesting.
It's a good watch if you're in the mood.
I remember
Obviously,
liking it.
I don't remember it, but
Where can I watch it? Let's see. Hey, Peacock. Nice. Hulu. Nice.
I'm glad we figured out the mystery. That would have bugged me too.
it also has the guy who was supposed to marry Keira Knightley in the Pirates of the Caribbean. Commander.
Norrington.
Yeah, Norrington. But it did give me that vibes. Those vibes.
Yeah, this reminds me of a lot of different books and movies.
Maybe I'll watch it after.
You picked a good book, Julie.
Mhm.
I'm so curious how it's gonna progress.
Me too.
I
Okay.
feel like I feel like Lori and Jack are gonna end up together. How that happens, I just can't even imagine.
I just feel like if she ends up with Jack, she might lose Sarah, or vice versa, you know? Like if she comes clean with Sarah, then she might lose Jack or Oscar. And that makes it trickier.
Do you think, well, I know right now she's into Oscar, but I'm like, you know how you said she's gonna lose Sarah or Oscar? I don't know if she'll care too much about Oscar. Yes, but no.
I feel like she'd care for maintaining her relationship with Sarah first.
For sure, yeah. Yeah.
But then if Sarah does end up with Jack, it's like she's strung along to where she was at the beginning again. So that's just, oh. That's tricky.
You get 10 years. They're like what, 30 some? Mid 30s or
Mhm.
so?
Yeah, early mid 30s,
Early mid.
if that's a thing.
Because I was like thinking, just because I like the Evelyn Hugo popped in my head. I'm like, oh, maybe one of them dies, but no, they're fairly young. I mean, it could happen, but I don't think so.
Jack already came close enough with
I
his
know
accident.
I don't think they would do it again. No.
I mean, it only goes up to 2017.
That's
So
why like
eight.
9, 10 years now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 2008 was when we first saw them.
Oh, that's right. 9 years.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of possibilities, and that makes it really intriguing.
Will they have kids
Oh gosh.
and get even messier?
Auntie Lori. Wait, I'm your stepmom now.
Wait, I'm your stepmom. Oh man.
That would be something. I wonder if it's gonna, this is just such a small part, but I wonder if like Jack's career is like gonna be brought back into it. Like I feel like he won't be happy without it. And most of them, like they have their niche, you know, like Sarah's becoming successful, so is Lori,
Mhm.
and Oscar already has his family biz that he seems to be good at. I think he's gonna like focus on that for a bit and then come back stronger and see, you know, what happens.
I mean, I think the hearing loss is definitely taking a toll on him because it's like the one thing he wanted to do. And I like that he put that in perspective where he's like, I did so many interviews, I did this, I did that for this one job, and now I can't.
Like at the last moment.
Because I mean, you just never know what might happen and what might just instantly
Yeah.
change like that. You could work your whole life for one thing and then it's not even possible anymore. I mean, it's possible, but it won't be ideal for
Mhm.
the
I
person.
wonder too, like if he'll blame himself or even Lori, because it's like I feel like he was late because he was trying to avoid the dinner. Then he was probably rushing because he was trying to be on time. Because you remember right before that whole dinner part where they figured out that he was in the accident, it was like I'm trying to leave the latest possible to still
Make it
be
on
there
time.
on time, but not be too early and be awkward. So maybe he'll have some resentment too. I don't know. Like, oh, if it wasn't for this awkward dinner, if it wasn't for Oscar, if it wasn't for Lori or Sarah making me come. But maybe that's why he's being so mean to them at that point, you know?
Mm.
I'm like so horrid. Sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable. I feel like I'm very close to you. So.
See what happens. So I don't think I put much notes.
And then we haven't gotten to the part where, because Sarah went on a little trip, right? And that's why Lori went to go visit Jack towards the end. I feel like she might be able to intuit that something happened. because I know like for Oscar, she was just like we had a falling out or like a slight disagreement. He didn't really like ask that much more. But I think Sarah would want more details. So I wonder if she will ask and what Lori will say if she does.
Will she find out that they got sent the same flowers?
One time one of my
Probably.
uncles gave my mom like a watch for Christmas, but he gave his girlfriend the same thing. And his girlfriend got so mad.
'Cause I feel like as a significant other, I think you're just more alert, no? Like you're just
Mhm.
watching, you're like, wait a second, that looks like mine. Like,
And maybe she'll see the receipt and be like, "Oh, why did you get charged 2 times? They bamboozled you." And then he'll be like, "Oh, I got some for Lori on the side." I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like Sarah would totally be blinded, and because she asked Lori to go over there, and Lori can be like, "Oh no, well he like blew up," or if he's like, "Oh well, I kinda, was mean to her." And he's like,
Hmm.
"Oh yeah, that makes sense." But then knowing the flowers at the same, I don't know. That one I think maybe she'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I don't think he should have gotten the flowers exactly the same.
Yeah. It's the same. At first I thought it was just gonna be for Lori, and I was like,
2 flowers for her.
no, just one bouquet. But then he said two, and I was like, wait.
The lady was hella judging him. I was laughing at that part.
Yeah.
I wonder if that really happens. Like, I mean, I'm sure it does.
The scandal.
I mean, we tell the messages too, so then they like see more detail and they're like, oh,
Yeah, I'm sure they're like
alright.
holding it up to the light. Like, let me see what it really says.
Yeah.
This coping mechanism is not very well. Jack's parents, the dad died, right? The dad.
So
Yeah.
that's something they kind of had in common at the beginning, like the
Yeah.
loss of the sister / the potential loss of Lori's dad, plus
yeah, yeah.
Jack's dad's death.
Because I was thinking, I'm like, Jack just seems so sad and so mean. Like he's basically left with nothing. But I'm like, wait a second. I know that there was still like a mom or a brother, right?
I think
Some
so.
relative. But maybe he's just forgotten about him. And now Sarah is all he has, and he doesn't really like that.
Yeah, maybe he'll be scared to be by himself if that, were to happen, if he only had Sarah.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't put much notes. Will we get a wedding?
Oh, a New Year's
No.
wedding.
No wedding at all?
What
No.
if Sarah and Jack get engaged and Sarah asks Lori to be the maid of honor? It'll be super awkward.
That would suck.
Yep.
I feel like Sarah could possibly find herself someone else. And then
She
out of nowhere.
would.
And then, no, yeah, but I feel like it might end up being like, well, I don't know, because I feel like
At the
like
beginning, though, she was like, "This is the guy I'm gonna marry. He just doesn't know." That makes it hard. And Sarah's not a person who's like not used to getting what she wants, I think,
yeah, but I feel like she's a strong character that I don't think, because in my head, I'm like, will she cheat? Because she's not happy in this situation anymore. Like, she's like, I want to leave. I want to, like, I'm looking forward to not being around him.
Mhm.
But I'm like, would she, like, let's say she goes off on a trip, like the trip she went to,
Mm-hmm.
would she cheat? But I feel like she's more of a strong character that she's like, you know what, if I don't want to be in this, I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna go
Yeah.
with, like I think she's the type that would be bold and blunt and, just say it straight up.
Yep, I agree.
We'll see. I don't think Lori will actually marry Oscar. I feel like there's a potential,
No.
but maybe not.
Maybe his purpose was just to help her like see that she can be her own person apart from like Jack and Sarah, because she needed the trip to kind of like do a reset, and then she came back, and like even though maybe they're not the best fit for the long run, like he's still kind of pushing her out of her bubble and making her comfortable in a different way, giving her that self-confidence.
Helped her for sure.
Yeah. I can't wait to keep reading.
Me too. So 2 more meetings.
Oh, there's book question. Well, I'm not gonna read them, but
I
there's
was reading some of them, but they're mostly like in the beginning portion.
okay.
I think they kind of go in order.
But sometimes if you read them, you see spoilers, Judah, so be careful.
I know, that's why I was going very slowly.
Yeah, you can see there's like a little black thing right here. And I was like, what's that? This little line. Ink. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I almost peeked into the wrong side. I just saw loss and I was like, I don't know. We'll see. I was gonna say we usually talk about books in the 3rd meeting, huh?
Correct.
Damn it. I didn't think of a theme.
Julie had suggested sci-fi fantasy, which I don't think we've done really. I feel like the closest was maybe Gracier in terms of dystopian and
Oh, yeah,
fantasy.
Grace Year? I forgot Grace Year was this year. That was
Yeah.
good. That was pretty good. I like that one. Should we do the sci-fi?
Entering new.
Hmm?
Yeah, sci-fi like entering new
Entering new
world of 2023 and
New era.
new year, new era. Yeah. That's kind of
very
cool,
nice
yeah.
sci-fi era.
New year, new planets, new year, new
Monsters.
universes.
I do like sci-fi, but I haven't read a lot of it, and then every time I read it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Like, why didn't I read more of it?
Yeah, we could do that. I kind of like that.
Mhm.
It's cute. Do sci-fi.
Oh, I'm excited.
Is it sci-fi
And-
like dystopian kind of thing?
I think it's like sometimes dystopian, but I don't think it has to be. But yeah, science
Mm.
fiction.
Sci-fi.
But I think most of the sci-fi I have read has been dystopian.
Dystopian world, some sort of outside universe that's not the typical here. Cool. Okay, so bring a book if you want. If you don't want,
Got
to.
it.
I like Katie's book. We should just read that one. Katie should just pick all our books. Just kidding.
Well, I was gonna, if we were gonna do sci-fi, that would be my pitch.
That one seemed cool. It's lengthy though, right?
Yeah, probably if it's sci-fi, they're usually kind of long.
Well, January is 5 weeks.
Yeah. So at least like, let me see, winter. Sometimes I feel like a boomer trying to navigate my phone.
The Midnight Library came up in my sci-fi search, but I feel like that's more like not sci-fi. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I guess because of the time travel element, maybe.
I was gonna say maybe because of that little like it can't really happen.
That must
Okay.
be it. Yeah.
I did see my.
It's only 441 pages,
Oh,
but it's a series.
that's also true.
Mhm.
That's also true. I remember that. We'll see. Okay, I'll look into it.
I also just like the cover. The cover of the book.
Which book is it, Katie?
A Winter's Promise.
Oh, the one you pitched last time. Mm-hmm.
It's like floating cities.
I did look it up. Yeah, that one was cute.
And it's
That's-
translated too, huh?
This book called Before the Coffee Gets Cold is sci-fi, considered sci-fi because of time traveling.
Mm-hmm.
I think I
don't know
saw
if it's
that.
about
I saw that.
because we
Did you read it?
No, we gave it to Brissette, no?
I know. I remember that, but I saw it right now too because I just put sci-fi books and I saw it,
Mhm.
but because Karina mentioned the Midnight Library, I think that's what it means. Because it's probably gonna go through like that
Oh.
little like different dimensions
Mm-hmm.
where it's
Didn't
not
I give
really-
it all the light we cannot see? Yeah.
what?
Didn't I give you that book called All the Light We Cannot See?
One of you has mentioned it in the past. I now remember
Oh.
what I think one of you pitched it.
I think you kept trying to give me that one, but then you didn't give it to me. I think you always mentioned that book, but you didn't really actually. You gave me some.
Oh.
Frankenstein.
It's very
Oh.
October. I'm just kidding.
I have The Exorcist for October if I don't read it before that.
Did you read The Institute?
No, because Rico started reading it.
Oh my
Oh, that
God.
one is sci-fi, I think, actually. I bet you there's some Stephen King
There's
sci-fi
the-
books.
Have you guys
Did you
read?
guys watch Dune? Oh, sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, have you read Dune?
Oh, no.
Oh,
I said, have you watched You? Because there's
No.
a Dark Face of Love, Genevieve Beck, and it's a French girl that he falls in love with on You. I guess it's her book
where?
that I don't know. I just on the sci-fi books. If you keep scrolling,
Oh, The
it's
Dark
called The
Face
Dark
of Love.
Love.
Ender's Game is really good.
I thought you were talking about Dune. I was like, I haven't read that one.
No.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of options.
That'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Adventure. Extraterrestrial life. Okay, that's our homework. And
Alrighty.
Okay, next chapter, 2 more years. Don't read 2015.
Got it.
Don't read.
It doesn't seem that long, but stop here. Cool.
Cool. Have a good
Good
night.
night.
See you next week.
Bye.
Good night.
See you next week.
Bye.